So it is once again time for MIFF if you're here in Melbourne. And what has become a tradition on Good Movie Monday, we are joined by Kate Fitzpatrick, programmer extraordinaire at MIFF. In my head, it was going to be Fitzgerald. And it
Yeah, and you can't do
is
that. I think I would rather Fitzgibbon than
Fitzgibbon.
Fitzgerald. I hate Fitzgerald so much. Tits pervert. But
Fitzpervert, that's right.
yeah, I'd rather that than fucking Fitzgerald.
I joke about it with Glenn often about how I'm going to screw up your name when we talk. Uh, And but rather than kind of just do a blanket discussion about MIFF this year, I thought what I would do is lay down a challenge, a challenge. So I have purchased a 12 film maxi maxi pass to the festival. Uh, and your challenge is to provide me with the program. Tell me what I should be what tickets I should be buying.
Well, having very little, a slight insight into what you like, I think. The first film I would recommend is this Irish horror film in night shift called Oddity.
Oddity.
Um,
Yeah, this sounds great.
Oddity. Yeah, it really is. It's terrific. Uh, this woman, um, her and her husband, this thing happens at the start, but this woman has a twin sister, a blind twin sister, who sends them this terrifying wooden statue of a man, I suppose, who's constantly got his mouth open. It's the most like no one would have this thing in their home, no one in their right mind, but they do. Um, and it's really creepy. It's got some great scares in it.
And
And
is this the one that's by the director who did that You Are Not My Mother?
yeah, which
Yeah,
I really liked. That was
which
from I think like a couple of years
a
ago, I
couple of years
think.
ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we played it at
Well,
Monster Fest. It was yeah, super, it was really good, really creepy, really atmospheric.
yeah, it kind of had that Irish folklore kind of
Yeah.
uh to it, which I really liked.
Yeah, no, that
Um,
one's fantastic. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one. Great choice. What is
yes.
next?
The next film I think you would really like is in our Bright Horizons competition section. It's called Horde. It's a featured debut by this British director Luna Carmoon, and it's got great eyeball work in it from Joseph Quinn. Um, it's
That
terrific, and it's
I love that guy. He always looks like on the verge of panic and
yeah,
and like very much a fish out of water.
to totally, absolutely. His eyes really give it away. I mean, he's definitely the best thing in Stranger Things too. I think. Like I love him in that.
Yeah.
But this is a film. It's got a really interesting backstory. The director originally wrote it as a 20-page suicide note. Um, Not ever expecting it to go beyond that, obviously, but she's turned that into I think, a really brilliant feature debut. It's got this really fantastic performance by a young woman she's kind of grown up with a mother who's a hoarder, and then she's taken into foster care, and she and Joseph Quinn's character, he's used to be in foster care at this home, and he comes back, and so they form this kind of quite close bond. And as she moves through her adolescence, she starts to kind of develop the same tendencies that her mother had. It kind of starts to creep through her personality. It's got really fantastic energy. The charisma between the two of them, like they've got a really great rapport, really great chemistry. Um, Haley Styles plays the mum in the first part of the film. She's really fantastic.
I
It's
just
great.
don't know why you would think that I'd like a movie about hoarders.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't I have no, no. What are you trying? What are you trying to say?
Just a subtle hint,
Yeah.
maybe.
All right.
Um,
Number three.
yeah. Well, I think you might like Bookworm. You're kind of like into it's started as it's kind of got like a feel of a family film from the 80s. Elijah Wood plays this kind of deadbeat dad who's called back to New Zealand to look after his daughter, who's played by Nell Fisher. Apparently, she's going to be in the next season of Stranger Things too.
Right.
Um,
This
after
is a
her mum's been taken to hospital due to a faulty toaster. Um, and they go on this, it's kind of like this bonding exercise because they're quite estranged. They go looking for this thing called the Canterbury Panther. It's like mythical creature in New Zealand. And so, and they run into Michael Smiley's in it. They run
I
into
like
him and
the
his
smiley.
wife out. Yeah, I love him too. And it's got this great, like it's a family film, but there's this element of danger to it, which is kind of not always in family films anymore, which I guess is where the throwback to the 80s is comes from. And it's directed by Ant Timpson, who is great. I really like Come to Daddy, and he's produced a lot of great stuff.
Ant
And he's just
Timpson
a really good guy.
once accused me of breaking the game of the Leonard Maltin game when I played with him at Fantastic Fest one year.
Oh, really?
There's a, there's a, I came up with an ingenious way to hack the game, and he was furious. And then, and then when I posted, when I did post it because I was out like a light, but when Zach Hepburn, a mutual acquaintance of ours, posted pictures of me falling asleep, like asleep on the stairs at the Cinema Nova during our all night marathon of I think it was Friday the 13th or maybe Nightmare on Elm Street. He banned me from coming to the 24-hour film festival in New Zealand.
So is that a requirement of that 24-hour festival that he runs that you have to stay awake for the whole thing?
You got to make it. You got to do it.
Yeah,
It's all
that's
part of
fair.
it. They lock the doors. I think it's a lock in. There's no leaving.
Great. I'd love to do it one year.
I know I don't have the. I know Zach has done it. I know that I do not have the stat. I can't make it through one film anymore. I just
I mean,
yeah, that's why I need a film to have a good first 10 minutes and a good last 10 minutes because I'm asleep during the rest of it.
I mean, when we get to the special events thing, right, well, we'll
I'm
come
in
back to
trouble. Yeah.
that.
Okay, so what are we? That's at number four. Is it the fourth film now?
Yes, we're up to number four. This is in restorations, and it's a French film called
Here we go.
Un rêve plus long que la nuit.
That's really
And
good. I saw that and I was like, yeah, good luck pronouncing that one.
I've said it a lot. I've said it many times, many, many times. It's in our restorations program, and it's by an artist, Nikki de Saint-Phal. Um, and it's
Was he
the
in the
rest.
employ of Christian Dior or something like that, wasn't he? Or she?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the restoration was funded by, well, helped along by Christian Dior and overseen by the artist's daughter, Ariel, who's apparently working on a documentary about Cookie Mueller, which is very exciting.
Oh, all right. That's it.
um, yeah, this was at New York Film Festival last year. It's just, I think you would really love it. It's kind of depraved in many ways. It's um, this kind of this dream like the whole thing is almost like a dream, really. So there's lots of crazy shit going on.
It feels
It's
like
very
it feels like it would be like a live action version of Belladonna of Sadness, the Japanese animated.
well. I haven't, yeah. I can't comment on that, but I will take your word for it.
Yeah.
I just think it would be something that you would really get a kick
Yeah,
out of, and also something that you won't get a chance to see anywhere.
yeah,
Um,
that's a big thing with this. My favorite things to see at MIFF are things that won't get a release immediately after MIFF.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, I don't imagine Oddity won't, Horde won't, Bookworm probably will, but I still think it's up your alley. Um, and this definitely won't be shown.
yeah, I think because I heard about this. I think I heard about this restoration last year at Cannes. They were
Oh, right.
talking about it.
Yeah, well, because I mean it would have premiered somewhere else, I think in Italy, but I saw it in New York. Like it was at the New York Film Festival last year, so that
Yeah,
tracks.
yeah, because it sounds fascinating. It sounds like who I've never seen, but what I always imagined all of that was that guy who did Holy Motors and
Yeah, Leo's
uh
Carrick.
Leas Carrick, yeah, like
Yeah, yeah.
his kind of bag.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's got a real, I think, a very feminine edge to it
Right,
that distinguishes it from that.
from his stuff. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um,
That sounds
it,
cool.
yeah, I think it's really beautiful, but it's also just really strange and great, and
It sounds like the
yeah.
perfect MIFF film. Like that, it is on my short list although I think I sent you an image of it, and that was like the first 2 pages of the program, and I think I had
Oh
like
yeah.
20, 30 films, $450 worth of tickets, and I'm like, oh, I have to cut this
Yeah, I
down.
know when you sent me that picture, I'm thinking this is just like the list of films in the
It's just
program.
everything.
I'm not sure if I'm reading this right.
Yeah. I, Back in the day, I used to just get a silver passport and just see everything, but no
Well,
more.
that's a nice thing to be able to do if you have
Yeah.
the time.
I used to, it was my year, it was my holiday. I would take 2 weeks of holiday and just do MIFF every day. And then I would fake sickies because it got too much, seeing like 5 films a day, every day of the week. And I'd be like, oh, I feel a bit sick. I better stay home. And I'm like, why am I it's only me who's going to be upset that I don't use these tickets that I've paid for. MIFF
Yeah,
don't
but
care.
it's the principle of the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've already got the money. We don't care what you do, but it's just
Yeah.
that principle of I don't know. I went to see Berlin Alexanderplatz at Acme many years ago, and I'd sat through 7.5. There were two 7.5 hour blocks, like one on the Saturday and one on the Sunday, and it got to like the last. I don't know if you've ever seen this series, but the last 20 minutes of it is this weird like epilogue. It goes off on a whole other tangent. Like it's totally different to the rest of the 14 hours that you've watched. And this woman that had been there for the 2 days got up and walked out. And I was there going, "Oh my God, how could you get to right to the end?" And then
And
apparently she walked past the usher and went, "Well, that's just ruined the whole thing." And stormed out in a huff.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Scandal.
it
Scandal.
was, yes.
Yeah.
Art is dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, tangents.
All right.
Yes, this number five on your 12 pass is a film called She Loved Blossoms More that I really love. It's a Greek filmmaker. I think his name is Yanis Veslemis. Sorry, Yanis, if I'm butchering your name. Um, it's this other very dreamlike, but also kind of nightmarish story of these three brothers have kind of concocted this plan to bring their mother back from the dead, and they've built
Yes.
a time machine out of a wardrobe.
Yes, I
Um,
read this. I read about this in the guide. This sounds fantastic. Yeah.
it's so great. Like it's really weird. It's really creepy at times. One of the guy's girlfriends comes and hangs out with them for the night, kind of plies them with drugs. Um, and it becomes this very weird dreamlike sequence where they're like out in the garden at one point, and then she ends up in the wardrobe, and their dad is played by uh Dominic Pinon, the guy from Delicatessen,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and City of Lost Children, um, and it's kind of like he's not orchestrating the whole thing, but they're almost doing his bidding
Right.
in trying to get her back. But it's really great. It's really creepy, but yeah, it's also really beautiful. I love the way it's shot is quite dreamlike. Like it's very soft focus. It's got this kind of grainy textural kind of quality to it, which I'm really into that kind of 16 millimeter stuff. But yeah, it's great. I think you would
Yeah.
like it.
No,
Also, not likely to come out to your local.
I'm definitely keen on that one.
Number six is just a really fun, straight up horror movie called Wake Up. It's by the team that did Turbo Kid, which
Ah,
Ann Gibson produced, I think,
yeah, that's right.
from
Yeah.
years ago. It's just a group of kids break into an IKEA type store to make like a statement about sustainability, and like they're planning to just graffiti the whole place. But unbeknownst to them, the two security guards, one's drunk and the other one's a psychopath. And the one who's the psychopath, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's in Game of Thrones, which is difficult because everybody's in Game of Thrones. But
Ian it's
he's
Ian
like Jon
McShane.
Snow. He's Jon Snow's sidekick, dude. Like he's in a Netflix show at the moment, I think. Oh
Not the Irish guy from The Guard, and
no, no.
who else is
Uh
John
anyway,
Snow's sidekick?
Jon
Oh, that,
Snow's sidekick. He's in that show. It's on Netflix. Oh, far out, man. I'm
it's all
totally
right.
not
We'll figure it
my
out once we stop recording, I'm sure.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, that one sounds great. That one sounds like Chopping Mall 2, which I'm very keen.
Yes, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what it's been likened to.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Awesome.
quite deservedly so. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. Another one I think is a lot of fun, and definitely not something that you're going to see. You're not even going to see anything else like it at MIFF. And at Sasquatch Sunset,
Yeah, with this is with Riley Keough and
and Jesse
Jesse
Eisenberg.
Eisenberg. Yeah, and they're it
Fully,
sounds very much like the Steve Oram movie where everyone's
yes,
apes
yes, yes,
and they're just talking in ape.
yes. Except these characters are all dressed. They're all in Sasquatch suits for the entirety of the film. It's by the Zellner brothers, the Kimiko treasure hunter
Yes,
people.
Kamiko the Treasure
Uh,
Hunter. Which Jesus, I want to see that film. What a great idea
yes,
for a film.
yes, it's so
I
gosh.
need to track that down. Yeah,
Um, and this is yeah, it's great. It's really just kind of what it says on the
yeah. It's just
packaging. It's
a
a bunch of Sasquatches hanging out. You don't see any humans
yeah.
throughout it. Just like um shagging each other, picking nits off one another.
It's like a
Um,
Sasquatch sex comedy.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely is. There's no dialogue. There's just lots of grunting, but it's really beautiful as well. And actually quite touching by the end. It's really great.
yeah.
I particularly enjoy Jesse Eisenberg as a Sasquatch.
Definitely in for this one.
Yeah. Um, the next one, I think it's been really popular actually. It's doing really well, which is great because I love it, is Time Stalker.
Yes.
It's Alice Lowe's second film.
I really enjoyed
Um,
Prevenge, and I love her in like Garth Marenghi's Dark Place and all that kind
yeah,
of. Yeah,
me too. I think she's ace. Like she's such a great actor, but I really love Prevenge as well. And this is like a time travel stalker comedy.
Yeah, but she's the stalker, isn't she? Like she's
She's
obsessed with
kind of, she's obsessed with this fuckboy through the ages,
yeah,
basically, like
just
from medieval
falls in
times
through
to
time.
80s, yeah, 80s New York, and then into the future. And it's got like I'm a real sucker for slapstick when it's good. Like if
Yeah.
it's done well, I think I don't know, there's probably not much that makes me laugh in the same way. And there's some really great, I think, slapstick in that film.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this one. This one sounds great.
Cool. I don't know how you feel about documentaries, but Scala, I thought you might be into.
This is the John Waters one?
Well, yeah, he features in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about a cinema in London that was a really successful cinema for a long time, showing lots of underground stuff. It got known. There's loads of great people in the film, like Peter Strickland comes on to talk about how it influenced him as a filmmaker because he got to see stuff there that you couldn't see anywhere else. And it ended up being kind of their undoing in the end because they showed a Clockwork Orange um, when they shouldn't have, and I think they got sued by Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, right.
Um, but yeah, it's great. I actually went to that cinema once. It closed down at the end of 1993, and I saw a film there. I was living in London around that time.
Wow.
And I went there purely because I heard you could smoke there. Yeah, but it was very cool. I saw a Razorhead there.
Yeah, well, what a great film to see there.
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's got a real kind of great punk style to it, and yeah, great music, great interviews. So it's really good. Um, anyway, the next one I think you will really like is Motel Destino, and I
Yeah,
think you said
yes.
you read up about that.
Yeah, the sleazy one. I was
Yeah,
lamenting the fact that there wasn't enough sleaze at MIFF this year, but I think this one makes up for it.
I found one. Yes, I
Yeah.
found one for you. It's literally set in a sex hotel.
Yeah.
So I mean, you couldn't
Yeah.
ask for anything
It's
more,
yeah,
really.
no. It's a raincoater. It's great.
And the I think my favorite part of this film is the colors in it. Like it's really vibrant. Like the color palette of it is quite deliberately, yeah, very vibrant. And just kind of brings out, you know, when you watch those films that you feel the sweat in it.
Well,
It's a bit like
it's
that.
actually that's actually what I've there's very little I hate more in movies than sweaty. Like it took me I literally took decades for me to watch Strange Days because I was like, oh, Ray Fiennes is so sweaty in it. I feel like so uncomfortable watching it.
Oh no, so you don't like do the right thing? Everyone's sweating in that.
Yeah, yeah, they totally are. Yeah, all of Spike Lee's movies seem to be set in summer in New York where it's 0 degrees
Oh,
sea level and everyone's just melting.
yeah, I don't think I could handle New York in the summer.
No. I went, it was the summer, but it was kind of after or just before the really hot part. And so it was fine up on the streets. But when you went down into the subway, it went up like 10, 15 degrees and no air. And it was absolutely
Oh,
horrifying. It was
no,
terrible.
that's no good.
Yeah.
This next film, I actually haven't seen it, but I am super keen to see it. And I know you like dogs as well. And so I think you might like it. I mean, I hope you do. I hope I do. It's called Runt. And
I do
it's
like runts.
well, it's just it's we the trailer for it is just gorgeous. It's this young girl finds you know a runty dog and takes it in, and her folks um they're going to lose their farm, like they've got financial hardship. So she concocts this plan to win the money to help them save their farm by putting the dog in like a British dog competition, like the Crofts.
Ooh,
And I mean, I could watch Crofts videos
yeah, they're great.
24 hours a day, quite frankly. So as I saw the premise of this film, I was like, I need to see this film. I
Yeah,
think it's going to be right up my alley.
yeah. A lot of the time I will stay away from dog movies because I can't handle it if they're sad, like if they're like the dogs get hurt or anything like that. But this one
Yeah,
actually sounds like sounds
it,
like totally
exactly.
up
This
my
is
alley.
total opposite of that.
Yeah,
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 yeah. I was gonna recommend Black Dog to you, but I mean, it's not. Mm, it's a gray area.
yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
All right, so last one. What is number 12?
This I actually don't know how you feel about this filmmaker, but you might like him. The last one is Vulcan Isadora. It's a Joel Petrocas film. I don't know if you ever saw Relaxer or Buzzard, both of which we screened at MIFF in the last few years. Like
They sound like
Relaxer was like
they sound like pills I take to
2019.
help me go to the toilet.
I mean, watching that film could do that to you too.
Yeah.
He's quite, yeah. I really like his films, but he's not for everybody, I would say. Um,
Well, then he's probably for me because usually that's what I like.
and it's sure not something that you'll see here. Although I did notice that Relaxer at least is on Brolly.
Ah, so Umbrella
Um,
picked it up. That's interesting.
yeah. Um, this is I mean, it's along the same lines. He's got this actor that he works with all the time, Josh Berg, who's in this as well. But he's also in it. Joel Petrocas is in it, and they're like two friends who go on a camping trip. Um,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
but they've,
Yeah,
they've kind of made this
they've separated from
arrangement.
society or something. Yeah,
Well, it's got that feel to it, definitely. And then something happens. I don't really want to spoil it, but yeah, then there's a reckoning kind of for the rest of the film. It's very lo-fi. He's got a very he's probably a absolute definition of an independent filmmaker. This guy, like he just seems to do everything on his own terms. Um, he pretty much seems to just do everything himself. And this time he's actually in it. He hasn't been in a film of his own before. At least I don't think so. Not the ones I've seen. And it's just, yeah, it's great. I mean, I would say it's great to go into not knowing very much about it.
right.
Um,
That's one of those because I did read the write up for it, and it did pique my interest.
yeah.
Also because the still that they used made him kind of look like me in terms of like a disheveled bum, and I was like, this is my kind of film.
These are my people.
And it's like, yeah, and he's just from what I read, yeah, like they kind of him and his friend just decide to go off into the wilderness to be by themselves, and I'm like, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and
I
then
mean,
of course, as you do when you spend too much time with another person, they get on your tits, and then they have a falling out.
yes, something like that.
Yeah,
Um, I think you would like it, and I think if you like it, it would be worth tracking down those other films because he's great. He's really good.
yeah. Well, now that I know that some relaxes on Broly, I'll definitely check that one out.
Yeah, it's
Um,
great.
all right, fantastic. Well, that actually sounds really good. I mean, that helps me whittle down outrageous my outrageous list. And that was only the first two pages. That list, literally the first two pages. It's like every film on the program.
Exactly. You're just going to
And
come and see everything.
I ignored things like there was a couple of shorts programs and stuff, which I was like, oh look, I'm not going to go see those, but they were great. It was very upsetting. But
Yeah,
so
the still for the WTF shorts. I really want to go and see that package just because I love that image so much of
Yeah,
the with frog with his hands out
yeah,
like that. Really great.
really great.
Apparently the
Uh,
film is wild, so
yeah, that's I like those WTF shorts are always the best ones.
mm,
Um, so MIFF this year is on from was it August 8th to the
25th.
25th,
Yep.
uh, all around Melbourne. Check out the website, miff.com.au, and maybe we'll see you again next week for some more MIFF talk. We'll try and
Yeah,
keep it
please.
going. Yeah, awesome. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Kate. Bye.
Bye.